thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, a Family Island man is happy to be safe and unharmed tonight after he was chased at high speeds here in the capital. He joins me to tell his story. Also coming up, did you see the video of what appears to be a pastor being arrested while in the middle of church service on Sunday? Question, was the officer out of line? Here's another question. What did the pastor do? Also, it's still a waiting game in the F&M, almost the end of January, and still no announcement of who the party will offer in the 2026 general election. Are there too many options or slim pickings? And is the PLP deputy leadership position on the line? Prime Minister Davis says he supports Cooper. So, well, we pick up right from there a little later in the show. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. On Sunday evening, Savion Bethel had the scare of his life. He was on the intersection of Marathon Road, Prince Charles, and Robinson Road on the red light. As he sat waiting for the light to change, a vehicle pulled up alongside him and the occupants approached his vehicle. What happened next still has him thanking God that he's alive tonight to talk about it and also to warn other motorists of what perhaps is a trend. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Savion. It's good to have you here. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Shanae. Good evening, Bahamas.
I want you to talk about what time of evening did this happen?
This happened shortly after 10 p.m.
Shortly after 10. So tell us what happened. You were on the light, waiting for the light to change, headed in a westerly direction, yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so what happened?
So as I was sitting on the light, I would have noticed a vehicle coming behind me. And so at first I thought, that's normal. You're on the light. Obviously, there are going to be other vehicles on the road. But I got a very uneasy feeling about it. And so I checked and made sure that my doors were locked and I screwed up the windows. And it wasn't until I did that I looked on the side of me and I realized that the vehicle came towards the side of me and they opened their door. At that moment, one of the occupants came out of the vehicle, out of the passenger side, and attempted to open the driver's side of the car that I'm driving. And so in that moment, I began to go into a panic. But I knew that I was on the red light, and I'm like, okay, what do you do? Do you sit here on the light or do you leave? And so instantly I had to make the decision. I ran the light, and I tried to quickly get away. That was not something that I would have wanted to do because I'm like, okay, you don't know if another vehicle could be coming and you could hit somebody because you're on the light.
Right, and that's a very busy intersection that you were on.
Yes, but interestingly enough, there weren't many vehicles on the road during that time. And so as I'm trying to get away from them, I'm realizing that they're still following me. And this became really a high-speed chase, what it felt like, Shanique, because as I'm going, they are, gaining on me, and they're behind me, to the point that they're essentially running me off the side of the road.
Oh, so they bump you?
Yeah, so they didn't hit me, but it felt as if that's what they were going to do. That's how much they were running me off towards the side of the road.
What speed were you making, would you, if you remember?
But this vehicle goes at 240 kilometers. I was at least 160, almost 180. That's how much I was trying to make sure that I could get away.
You and these little small streets were making over 100 miles per hour to try to escape these men?
Yes.
So continue with what happened.
So I'm not here from Nassau, so I live in the Family Island. So at that moment, I'm like, okay, you need to pick up the phone, try to call the police, but I'm going at so much speed. I'm like, you can't try to pick up your phone. You're trying to type in the password for your phone, But I remembered that there was a police station near Marathon Mall up on the hill. But again, not being from here, I don't know where do I turn off to get to this police station. And so I missed the turn off. And so I just had to continue driving and driving. I'm like, oh my God, can they, maybe they just stop following me. But that never happened. And they continued to follow me down towards Shell gas station on the roundabout.
And this is, now we're talking about Shell, almost the Shell headed towards JFK.
Yes.
Yes, and that roundabout right there.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm continuing on the roundabout, and at this point I'm like, you need to slow down, you're going at too much speed. A few other vehicles I now started to see because obviously on the roundabout, so a few other vehicles started to join.
Wait a minute, wait, you're rushing now because I'll tell you, someone in the newsroom who you know also told me this. You were hugging that roundabout for several times, trying to shake these guys. No vehicle was nowhere in sight, but you kept going around and around and around the roundabout. Why? Why you figured circle that versus continue west?
My concern was, one, I don't want to continue on straight because if I continue on straight, they may gain on me and they could potentially hit the vehicle or start to even shoot at the vehicle because I don't know what they may have had inside the car. And so my hope was if I kept going around the roundabout, maybe that they'd just get tired and just leave.
My God. Now, eventually, like you said, you were quite thankful to see an indication that vehicles were approaching.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And so at that point, when I realized that other vehicles started to approach the roundabout as well, I'm at this point still trying to figure out if they're still behind me, and eventually I realized that they finally just left. I guess they just got tired and realized that other vehicles were joining, and so they just left.
I mean, how do you feel? I mean, we often hear people from who live in the Family Islands say they hop in Nassau and they try get out immediately. How do you feel knowing that you were here? You actually leave tomorrow. You're still here in New Providence, but you are here trying to get some business done, get some things sorted out for you and your family to have this encounter.
Yeah, and that's the sad reality, Shanique. I was here actually dealing with my father, taking him back and forth to the doctors for some medical appointments. And we're not used to things like this happening, obviously, in the Family Islands. Any hints of crime that happen in the Family Islands are typically isolated situations. And so for me, coming from Abaco, I'm used to being able to go in the evening and not having any issues, not looking over my shoulders. But the reality for so many Family Islanders is we don't want to come to Nassau unless we necessarily have to, and we try to get in and get out.
Listen, none of us here in Nassau could blame you. Were you able to reach the police, or you just figured, okay, that's a one-off, you're going to leave here in anyways after you're done with your father?
So that's an interesting point, Shanique. So the thing for me was, I'm like, okay, people would say, well, why didn't you go to the police station? Why didn't you call the police station? With what information? It's not as if I had, taken down the license plate number, because you're not looking at that. In that moment, you're trying to get away and, you're in fear for your life. And so for me, I'm like, if I'm going to the police station, what am I going to the police station with? I don't know what the color of the car was, what was the make of the car, or what information to give them.
This is so frightening and so disturbing, and it's just vexing to what people in New Providence in particular are faced with, whatever it is. Just can't even socialize in many instances, particularly after certain times in the evening. But what advice would you give? Yeah, you're not from here, you're not familiar with Nassau. You perhaps even, like Shanique, what advice can I give to motorists? But just given this experience, what would you want to say to people who must be on these streets, whether it's day or night, but particularly you get off evening time and trying to get home safely?
Yeah, well, my advice would be to just think critically. I often say to even family members I have here in Nassau, if you are on the road, whether it be day or night, make sure that your vehicle doors are locked. I try not to even drive with my windows down for the same reason. And I think it's just, if you don't have to be out, I mean, it's sad to say that because, people should be able to socialize and be able to enjoy nightlife.
Yes.
But if you don't necessarily have to be out, particularly women, it's sad to say, try not to, be on the road as late if you can avoid it.
It is so unfortunate, and I'm happy that you are here to even share this experience. I thought it was important for you to, when you reached out or when your family member reached out, because everybody was just shaken up by it. And then, of course, to discuss it with the newsroom and someone in the newsroom know of this when it happened. I thought to just share it with people so that if it's a trend, the police can perhaps be aware and sound the alarm. But it doesn't have. We just see the stupidness, the many headlines sometimes that is just so vexing here. And hey, your father, I hope that he is okay. You are helping assist him with his doctor's appointments, and just to have to kind of contend with this on the sidelines. But I say flight back to Abaco tomorrow, and enjoy peace and tranquility there.
Yes, thank you so much, Annie.
I thank you very much for speaking with us, Sevion Bethel, a gentleman in his 20s, just here in New Providence for less than a week, and just trying to get some stuff done to assist his family. And here he is, meeting just something that is just so stupid and senseless on the streets. The good news is he is unharmed. I mean, you heard him making in excess of 100 miles per hour just to try and outspeed these people who are right there trying to run him off the road. Just very, very frightening. We're going to get some, I'm going to get some opinions, from the Hot Topics panel when I come back after this break. And then we're going to shift gears and look at some other stories and other interesting issues that you are paying attention to, that you want answers to, and that you also want discussed. This is Beyond the Headlines. We're going to take a break and come back with more after this.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Bahamas, are you ready? 2025! Keep the Bible Live Music Group present KB. Boy, you don't know me yet.
It's KB
and friends. The Boatman Show.
All you rake and scrape lovers out there, Saturday, February 1st, Keep the Bible Live Music Group invites you out to enjoy some Bahamian culture with KB and Friends in concert, The Boatman Show.
Saturday, February 1st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Can't wait to see you there.
The legendary KB and Friends. Gino D. Colin McDonald. Irish Store in the Spank Band. The Falcons, Ancient Man, Mama D. Shine 242 and more.
KB and Friends in concert at the Farm, Marshall Road, Saturday, February 1st.
Tickets on sale at the Beauty Shack. Both locations, General 50, VIP 80. And for the Platinum fans, exclusive skyboxes are available. Gates open at 7 p.m. For more info, call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Let's keep the Bible alive.
On behalf of the entire flight crew and Western Air, we hope that you enjoyed your flight and we look forward to serving you in the near future.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation?
You mean the Ministry of Tourism?
No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what I say, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do?
What does do?
Well, check the website once. Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to jump right in because we saw, of course, at the top of tonight's show is a story that I wanted to share with you all because it's something that we all need to be aware of. I wanted to share with you all what took place on late Sunday evening, and not quite so late, after 10, with a gentleman in his 20s visiting from the Family Islands, and somebody on the light tried to get into his vehicle. So again, be very, very just exercise due care and caution. Also, have your windows up, have your doors locked, and just be ready to move. It's all, truly. Now, though, we're going to get into some hot topics because we have a lot to get to in this segment and the following segment. And so welcome to Beyond the Headlines, our contributors, Candace Scott and Glenroy Pratt. Good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. You hear that voice?
She almost forgot the names.
He sounds like, no, you know what? I always have to laugh when a certain individual is here, because if you make me not call your name again. But listen, I want you all, to let's talk for a minute about something that is troubling. We see Nassau, thankfully, it's the 21st day of January, and it's been relatively quiet. Yes, we are grateful for that. Yeah. But to hear the story of this Family Islander who was just shaken to bits, you heard him having forced to make over 100 miles per hour. In fact, almost putting the car to its limit, which was 200 miles per hour. He said he was making, I think, in excess of 140, 160 miles per hour just to try and get to leave behind some people who obviously had no good intention on the road. Your thoughts about just, I don't know, do the police need to be out and about around the clock?
Under 24 hours. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Bahamas. Under 24 hours, the police get new trucks, get new transportation. Shouldn't they be on the road? This incident is terrifying, and I wasn't even the person in the car. But to believe that in Nassau, normally the streets are so crowded, that he was being pursued, and then you wonder why. One of the things that he said, he could not give a description, but what if it was one of those cars without license plates?
Well, thank you for reminding me. You know what? In fact, let me do this, because I'll tell you, no, the Department of Road Traffic has been, since late last week, asking me to say to the nation, all your license plates are ready. The police will now have been empowered to go and give you tickets if you're found driving without one. Again, according to the Road Traffic Department and the Controller of Road Traffic, every license plate under every alphabet letter is ready. So go pick it up and stop making excuses. Go ahead, Peggy.
Yes. And so what if it was, go get your license plate, but we're in a very critical time in our country, on this island in particular. The driving is crazy. You have to be looking left and right in those little cars. I call them demonic little cars that zoom in and out of traffic, But like he said, be careful, be aware. I know personally, I lock my car door, my windows are up. I'm very concerned because people are there walking along the street. You don't know what could happen, and so protect yourself.
Yeah, good evening again. Certainly you have to be very careful, and also you have to limit your movements as much as possible. If you don't need to be on the road, just joyriding or just moving about. But you shouldn't have to be in a place of being fearful for your life based on the fact that we're supposed to be law abiding, but we know the realities of in the country we are in, and times have changed. And so I urge everybody to use caution and common sense now when traveling. Be alert of your environment. Be mindful of where you're going. Be mindful of who you are giving rides to and all the likes. Just be vigilant in every aspect of what you're doing. Tell people where you're going when you're going places. Also give people a call when you're coming to them and you know that their surrounding may be dark or whatever the case may be. Just exercise common sense and good caution.
Yes.
And I think that'll go a long way in saving your life. If you see something suspicious when you're riding or even going home, ride past your home and make a call. Don't just pull up in the yard with the same gut feeling of suspicion and find yourself in a situation that you don't need to be in.
Very true. Good advice. Let us all put it into practice. And no, nobody's trying to know your business, but it's just accountability of saying, listen, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm meeting so and so. It's necessary nowadays, and so certainly do that. But listen, I want to move this along. Peggy and Glenroy, a video showing a reported arrest of a person believed to be a preacher on the island of Grand Bahama has left room for much questions, as the clip has placed the police officer carrying out the arrest and the religious leader in question. Linton Ritchie Jr. has been following this story and has the details. Then we'll come back and discuss.
A Sunday service reportedly came to an abrupt halt when a police officer allegedly arrested the church's religious leader during its worship hour. The arrest, captured on video, has sparked controversy over the handling of the matter. In the 12-second clip, an officer appears to speak with the church official dressed in purple before grabbing him by the arm and leading him outside. As this unfolds, a woman attempts to jump kick the officer before the two men exit the church. President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernanda, expressed serious concern about the timing and nature of the incident.
Penal Code Section 207 speaks to an officer not being able to execute this, and we have conventions of the same while a worship service is going on.
Bishop Fernandez stated that the council is deeply troubled by the events depicted in the video.
We're busy trying to ascertain the why, when, and who of the pastor or the arresting officer. The reasoning for why this could not be executed before or after the service.
The video, which quickly circulated across social media, has drawn mixed reactions. Some commenters question the necessity of the arrest, asking, is the pastor charged with murder or on the most wanted list? Why disrespect him in front of his congregation? Others defended the officer's action, stating the police officer acted well within his scope. Fernandez strongly believes the arrest should not have taken place in the church.
Unless other matters are at play, which we would like to be made aware of, that this was unnecessary and, quite frankly, unlawful.
He also questioned the urgency of the situation.
I think the discretion of the officer should have been to wait before or after, whether it's a pastor or a parishioner. You know where they are. You've ascertained their location.
However, Fernanda acknowledged that regardless of the circumstances, the law must be upheld appropriately.
Even if the laws of the land has to be executed, must be executed within the bounds of the law that permits worship not to be disturbed and not to be interrupted.
At this time, Fernandez says the Christian Council is demanding answers.
We wish to vindicate any party that if it is brought to our attention that this had to be executed and it is to a point that it had to be done in this way, these facts need to be made known. But other than that, it seems very much out of bounds.
Meanwhile, when Eyewitness News reached out to police for a comment on the video, officials responded briefly, stating only that the video is being reviewed. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, but did she try to kick the police? I'd like to know, because Mom, you need to be arrested. That's how it looks to me, because why was your leg up in the air behind a police officer walking out of the church? Now, did you all know that police officers basically are not permitted to even enter the sanctuary once service is going on?
So that's all criminals head to
go ahead to church.
Go to church.
Listen, anyway, I have an update before we get into it. The update is this, that the gentleman is a member of the church, a parishioner. He is, I don't know why he was wearing the robe, I don't know, because look like he was trying to sing extra hymns so the police couldn't actually come in. The pastor called the police. This is from a credible source. The pastor called the police on the gentleman because he is suspected of some matters of having broken the law. So the pastor called the police on the gentleman to come and take the gentleman away. He was not arrested. He was asked to leave. Now, of course, that matter, obviously, further investigations must be going on because we have just heard through the grapevine what the allegations are. So that is a different matter. But this is what the story is. The person in the robe was not the pastor. The pastor actually called the police to come in and get him out. Get that demon out the church from acting like he's singing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but let's talk about it. We know what the allegations are. We can't repeat it because there's been no official charge. But to see that the church is really protected in this nation, that you cannot, an officer cannot, with justifiable reason, enter a church.
But protective of whom? The alleged one, the alleged victim, the alleged crime that was committed to a victim. We have known in our history that pastors have been locked up for misconduct concerning young women. And so who is the church protecting? I mean, I'm not surprised much by the president of the Synodal Council, but who is the church protecting? Is it protecting victims? Or now is the church inviting criminals to come into the building for a safe haven? And probably the president should have contacted a pastor to see who made the call. Yeah. And probably his position would have been a little bit better than what he said earlier. It's the church protecting gangsters.
Yeah, it's really tricky to actually to comment on something and you don't have all the facts. I would have waited before I really commented on how it was done, but I would say there obviously has to be equitable distribution of law and order in the country when it comes to executing it. I know that in instances there would be individuals who would be in the parliament and stuff like that who have been asked to come in, and you know, they come in. So if allegations were made and the individual was just released because he said that he was not arrested, then there's so many questions here. I'm very curious to know, you know, why was he
asked to leave?
Asked to leave, mm-hmm. And then if the allegations that are circling, why wasn't he arrested? You know, it's so many questions on this particular matter. It's tricky for me.
I thought it was a skit first. At first, a prank. You know what I mean? Somebody playing a prank. However, again, through good authority, the pastor is the one who called the police. Maybe something was just unearthed and discovered by the church. And so the pastor called the police to get that individual out of their church because of what he is alleged to have done.
So that makes the question who the woman is trying to kick even.
I don't know, even more, who is she trying to, I think she's trying to.
The police or the guy?
No, I believe she's trying to get to him. Her legs weren't long enough. That's what was going on. Her legs weren't long enough because mom, keep your leg down. You was wearing a dress. Keep that down, you know what I mean? Because you should have been fine. Yeah, so listen, let's just move along now. Listen, you all know that we predicted it. Since January 2nd, the political season here, 2025, is open. Of course, just by way of the scheduling of Bahamian elections, 2026 is an election year. However, this is going to be a long election cycle based on the fact that, you know, the campaigning and the posturing has started, and obviously the bid to get votes and support and all the rest of it. So let's just look then at why it was promised since last year that before year's end, the Free National Movement would have introduced and made known its candidates to the Bahamian people. Why during the Junkanoo season, the leader said, oh, let's just get beyond the holiday. You all gonna know soon who the people are. Then last week or so, I had the chairman of the Free National Movement on the show, and he said, man, listen, it's over 100 people. But why we can't get 37? I just want to know your thoughts about this, the FNM seeming not able to, at the moment, make this announcement of who it will be offering to the Bahamian people.
Shanique, you know, as latest this morning, I put that question on my social media page, or was it yesterday? I said, such as the 18th day, and we've yet to air anything from the Free National Movement concerning its candidates. And for me, it is concerning because of timing. Mm-hmm. You can't take for granted that people are just going to accept these individuals. We don't know who they are. We don't know their background. We don't know their community or national contribution, and you just can't take for granted that you come in red and everything is going to be all right. I'm here to tell you, not so. I think we all know the timetable for elections. We all know that election, except under one circumstances, is every 5 years. And so why the delay? And I reached out to someone today, and I was told, same thing. There were 9, 10 people for some constituency.
For each constituency.
So they had to do, for some, and they had to do elimination process, blasey. But this is my concern. You want to govern a country that many things are happening. Every day we can have 2, 3 breaking stories. And so you have to be quick. You have to be executing and moving and excellent and speed and efficiency. So what about this? It is equally important. Do we use this as an example
so
of your
So you're
approach?
saying it's not a good start?
It's not.
Because nowadays we see the news cycle, what it is. TikTok has sped it up even more. And if you cannot appear to be on the ball and actually just with your own house seem to be in order.
Yeah.
The bigger house you're trying to lead?
Yeah, and the excuses and the explanation, I think they're running out of time. And for people who think, some people have the persuasion, okay, we can have a snap election, then you ain't ready. What if it was a snap election? You ain't ready. You're not giving. Yeah, you're not giving the constituencies. You're not giving individuals like myself who like to do KYC and put the information. KYC is know your candidate. Put the information out there. You're not giving me or anybody else an opportunity to know who this individual is and ask the tough questions because you think you're wetting them. We're going to wet them for you, don't, I promise. And some people might just not pass it. And like I said, do not take for granted that you come in and read and you're safe. No, you're not. You're open to scrutiny, and so you need to get these people out there to give yourself time if you have to change one or two.
Very, very true. Glenroy, your thoughts on the fact that we still don't know who the FNM has on its ticket?
Yes, yeah, I was just listening to the lady in red.
Yeah.
You know what I believe, obviously, because the bench is so deep in terms of how many people are vying for different constituencies, it's making it a little bit harder for the decision to be made on who will actually represent each constituency. However, though, if we were to pay attention to what you see happening at the different constituency associations, there are individuals who are frequenting these locations and they are walking the streets. So it may be a surprise in a collective sense of who the candidates are, but I believe in the individual constituencies, people have been able to identify individuals who have been in their constituency more than once and walking the beat and presenting themselves. And so I believe while there is a delay, and I believe that time is running out, while there is a delay, it's not with people not being on the ground and touching lives and trying to present themselves as a viable candidate.
Even though there are individual constituency, and like you say, not everybody goes to those meetings. I don't think everybody do a good job promoting their constituency or their interest in running. I can speak for Carmichael. I know who was interested in Ms. Kamalafe. And so not everybody have that. And I make it my business to make that known. So not everybody is doing that. But we should not have to guess, especially at this time, especially as campaign and everything intensify. We should not have to assume or guess what is it and who get a nod.
Or to try, who got the
Little
tap on the
tap on the
shoulder. You know, I like what you said, Peggy, because people will want to know what someone's track record is.
Yes, of
no
course.
longer will you be wearing whatever color it is you come wearing, and you figure, well, you know what? I think I'll go with you this time. No, people truly want to know what's your accomplishments. What is it that you've been able to achieve? What difference have you made already in your, whether it's a small circle or a bigger one? What it is that you've done, though? What's your track record? What is your report card? What's your own report card looking like on your own track record in some sort of public forum in the Bahamas? So it's a lot. Listen, but when we come back, we're gonna quickly talk about, will Dr. Menace get the tap on the shoulder? He says he running, so that's what he said. And then, of course, listen, it's getting really interesting politically because the PLP deputy position, what's up with that? Why is that now in question? We're gonna take a break and come back with more Beyond the Headlines after this.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
On the river of life, where the open waters meet, we are all free to seek our own path. For some, it is a journey to the edge. For others, it's a pursuit of a mind at peace, distilling precious memories as we float where the tide takes us. It can be expeditions of one or relentless pursuits of what eludes us. It matters not. If you hunt, if you gather, there is a personal journey to find where you need to go, to outrun any ticking clock. Through decades, wave after wave of passing time, Sea-Doo has remained here, making each ride a story. Because life is unscripted, it's as open as the water. You can decide on the ride of your life.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
Bahamas, are you ready? 2025! Keep the Bible Live Music Group present KB. Boy, you don't know me yet. KB and friends. The Boatman Show.
All you Rake and Scrape lovers out there, Saturday, February 1st, Keep the Bible Live Music Group invites you out to enjoy some Bahamian culture with KB and Friends in concert, The Boatman Show.
Saturday, February 1st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Can't wait to see you there.
The legendary KB and Friends, Gino D, Colin McDonald, Irish Story, the Spank Man, the Falcons, Ancient Man, Mama D, Shine 242 and more.
KB and Friends in concert at the Farm, Marshall Road, Saturday, February 1st.
Tickets on sale at the Beauty Shack, Bow Location, General 50, VIP 80. And for the Platinum fans, exclusive skyboxes are available. Gates open at 7 p.m. For more info, call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Let's keep the vibe alive.
It's the most luckiest time of the year. There'll be things that are spinning and cash prizes winning. Just Big Bang is here. It's the most luckiest time. Yes, the most luckiest time. Oh, the most luckiest time of the year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Island Luck.
Time of the year.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. Continue to tune in. We're going to continue our political conversation and discussion. Of course, we were, before the break, talking about the Free National Movement and the fact that, people feel as though, listen, by now, we should have known who your candidates are. Well, one person certainly who is well known is former Prime Minister and Killarney MP, Dr. Hubert Minnis. And he told the media yesterday, listen, y'all, no, I'm running. The only thing, though, is he has not gotten the tap on the shoulder. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Our contributors, Candace Scott and Glenroy Pratt. Listen, you both, what do you make of Dr. Minnis appearing very certain of himself and basically saying, I am running, I'm not sure what it is Pentad them doing, and this whole got to train for 1,000,000 months and then wait for it to be known and the launch. I know, I already told you all, I'm running.
Anybody can run, Forrest. Anybody can run. But you can't make somebody put you on their ticket. So you can run as an independent. Nobody could stop nobody. Everybody could run. Marathon, just run. But you can't demand that you don't go through the process. A party stipulates and you are entitled to running because your previous position. But I wait and see. Like I said, I want to know who the candidates are. He might just, without the tap on his shoulder, become the candidate.
He might be a candidate, maybe in the FNM's best interest.
Yes.
Go ahead, Glenroy.
Yeah, listen, like Peggy said, any and everybody have a right to run, and if they want to vie for any kind of leadership, or not leadership, but more so the role of a member of parliament, they have the right to do so. In terms of whether or not him getting a tap on the shoulder, I mean, the reality is he was the former Prime Minister of the Bahamas, and if the party sees him in the light that he was a contributor to the party, it'll be wise that, if he's seeking to run, to do so, because obviously that has an impact if he doesn't have the opportunity. But listen.
A distraction the FNM doesn't need.
Right now, the country right now is in a place of seemingly going backwards anyway. So regarding...
Hold on now, Glenroy. Glenroy, I know you try to think that you're a little smart with your words. Are you saying giving Dr. Minnis a nomination is the FNM going backwards?
No. That's not what I said. I was speaking more on the current state of affairs that we are facing in the country. It seems as if the country is going backwards, and right now the Bahamian people are feeling their decision a couple of years ago, and the supposed new day, as people would call it, is not a new day, as if we are operating in the dark, because certainly there are a lot of things that we can't see that were promised. But one thing we do know is the price of everything in our lives is going up, and the feeling of taxation is high. And so right now the Bahamian people are suffering, and that's really where people are. So whether or not, the funny thing about the electoral process is that when the Bahamian people get angry, it is almost as if they don't care who you present in front of them. They just want the people who are currently out.
And we don't want that. We don't want a repeat of that, and that is why we have...
You don't want a winner by default?
No, we've been having that from 2002, and I think we're worse off for it. Another thing I think we're worse off for is landslide. So personally, I'm not in favor of a landslide. I'm in favor of a majority, a strong number in opposition, and even independent. And so probably Dr. Minnis could be independent because his track record in his constituency. So he could run as an independent and win.
By the way, we know that the Coalition of Independents has already introduced its slate of candidates.
Yeah.
So they are ahead of the official opposition. I want to talk, though, about the government. And I don't know if it's political mischief. I don't know if somebody just thought that they wanted to start the new week. And they don't think the Trump inauguration was a big enough news. They went and took out a full-page ad. Then, of course, to say that, listen, this is brewing just beneath the surface of the PLP, where the deputy position of the party, deputy leader position, is up for grabs, is somehow going to be contested. You all, what are your thoughts? First of all, I think it's mischief. Like the FNM, who has to do some cleaning up and alignments, because, you know, in this window, the PLP changing its deputy leadership position or deputy leader in, you know, as it looks towards an election. I just don't see it. But your thoughts about that big ad yesterday and the Prime Minister saying, listen, I'm for Cooper, man.
Yeah, Shanique, I'm in one WhatsApp political group managed by Dr. Julian Johnson. And this, you call it Dr. Julian Johnson, but this thing that you say is beneath the surface has been going on.
It was going on for me.
Vicious attacks against the DPM. I mean, vulgar attacks against the DPM.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh, okay. So I'm in this group, and so I thought the Prime Minister took a bit long to address it because it appears as if the divide was carrying on so bad publicly. And I thought it should have been addressed because you're in governance. You have a deputy.
And it's a distraction to your organization.
Yeah, but you're attacking the deputy prime minister of your party, and one of them that you always talk about, his portfolio is one of the best, the one you boast in, tourism, blah, blah, blah. But you have known PLP supporters and social media personalities and sharing. I mean, if you would have seen the attacks come up against the deputy prime minister, the name calling, the level of disrespect, the level of crab-biters behavior, I thought this right here took the prime minister that I don't know who placed it, but it brought the action that I believe was needed to stop what was going on, because they're tearing down.
Well, I would hope it stopped. First of all, I haven't even seen not just one of what you're describing. I heard little sip. Only thing I heard is somehow that JoBeth Colby Davis is interested, which I thought, again, to be political mischief, because I find it hard to believe, and why now? But I have not seen all the attacks and all that back and forth. Again, a distraction this administration does not need.
No. But I mean, Peggy is correct. I mean, there are known PLP operatives who actually have been spreading the propaganda and been saying things about their own deputy. And so obviously, if that has gone that deep, that tells you that there is some rift somewhere down in the party. Obviously, from the optic standpoint, you would think that Ms. Davis is seemingly more out front and more involved in governance than the Deputy Prime Minister, because you would have seen just about in every area she has her stamp. And it seems as if,
what do you mean in every area she has her stamp?
I mean, and she was
in BPL?
No, she was the minister of she was dealing with energy at one point.
She still is. She is the Minister of Energy.
Then she was dealing with housing, and then she,
traffic,
and then there was a time when there was an oil spill when she was Minister of Housing, and then she was still dealing with that. Just that her stamp is all over. She's been much more engaged and much more involved.
Engaged? No. Stretched too thin. Stretched too thin, I believe, because isn't she also something to do with aviation, or that's I'm not
Mr.
sure.
Cooper.
Right.
But she has a part,
but she has somewhere in aviation.
But that's the point. And so it seems as if
but I don't mean
but
that.
That's the mistake.
But she seems to be the bright, shiny object right now.
Bright, shiny object where?
In the sense of leadership.
I don't think that pointed or indicated that she was somehow tapped on the shoulder for any deputy leadership position.
But I think her PR is stronger. That's the point. And I think the Deputy Prime Minister underestimate the strength of social media PR.
And her supporters.
No, but I've seen Chester Cooper very active, or his page or something on Facebook. Doesn't he have a strong...
Facebook is one thing. When it comes now to Instagram, TikTok, and of course...
But TikTok is what it is.
Of course, WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And that is where she pulls ahead of him, and that is why Glenn Roy could say she's a shining light. You see, you have to be competitive on the ramp. And then the people who are pushing are so aggressive and not in a positive way.
Exactly. There's nothing more telling and much more powerful than the people who know you, pushing you and talking about you and saying that you are what they prefer.
And
that's inside the party.
And one of my observations in this group is, the group I think way over 250 individuals, and you could identify them by their comments and what they put in there, where their allegiance are. I saw nobody defend him. And I said, nobody is saying this is not right. I think besides Dr. Johnson.
Well, I think
nobody. And for me, that was concerning, because this is your deputy prime minister. This is your minister of tourism. This is your minister of aviation and your minister of investment. This, at one point, was the face of your party. This is the most
by default
acting prime minister of our country's history.
Well, that is true.
And nobody was defending him, and the attacks were very unkind.
Well, I asked last night, how well liked is he, but I'll move on. Speaking of Davis, you all see the new Davises in the nation. Something we discussed before, and
I like how you.
Well, no, I just say
the new Davises.
The new Davises, because it appears we asked the question, a serious question, about when people are naturalized, given citizenship, does that require a name change?
Yes.
Of course, we know changing your name is not against the law, but it also is why are people assuming new identities? We see in the paper almost on a daily basis there are a number of persons, foreigners in this nation, who give notice of having a name change. Well, surprisingly, but shockingly, the increasing number of who appear to be Asians or Chinese requesting name change, and not just name change that's totally opposite what their names are. For example, if you see in the paper, the name I cannot pronounce wants to be now called Cheryl Davis. This Zhang Li wants to be called Cheryl Davis. There is another. There's another. Again, another. Somebody Chang wants to be called Axel Davis. Do we have it? See, there it is. Look on the screen. Listen, go to the head of the class. Just a chance. One of you all, Carlisle, anybody in the body who doing this, because there it is right there. What do you guys? I find that to be quite questionable. That people assuming new identities.
And so Bahamian.
What it is? I as you and you as me. And I don't call you this Bahamian, I call you, and I guess...
We is one.
Right, and I guess using that last name is probably best.
And I can look at you and tell you is no Bahamian Davis. You're the Chinese. You ain't look like no Davis.
Where people from? Who your people is,
Which part of Ragged Island?
Right.
And so, I don't know if you recall, one of the last show of 2024, there was a crime situation. And it was a Asian national. And we could have never tell it was a Asian national because of the name.
Because of the name.
And I think it's important that we be able to trace these people. I'm sorry to make it sound like that, but if you go from Ling Ling to Davis, that's a whole different identity.
A whole different identity. Somebody with a whole new persona,
like,
new name. You would not be able to link Ming Lee and Davis together.
No.
At all. So I'm wondering, what is it like what are we doing? Yes, of course, it's not against the law, but also, do we want to continue doing this, having people just up and decide one day they're going to have a whole new identity?
And is that connection with citizenship or just somebody living there want change? You have to be a citizen of this country to change your name.
What are you running from?
But do you have to be a citizen? And see, these are some of the things that I expect the official opposition to speak to get answers for.
But not only that, I mean, and these are things that you as an electorate need to speak to all your members or current people who are vying for leadership in
That's
these
why
parties.
you need to come on the class and let us know who you are, because there are things, if they are 100% interested in running for the Free National Movement, that means there should have been an additional 100 people looking in the situation in this country, asking questions, because you're interested in becoming a part of the next government, probably. And so these questions and these concerns, and then not because they're Chinese means, okay, we only get alarmed if it look like an Asian name being changed. Because Chinese could be a voting bloc
But
too.
the question is also, if that name is changed, is that person already a citizen?
More than likely. I mean, Jesus, I would
Are they
hope
applying
so.
for citizenship?
No, I would think they're citizens.
So, but if they are citizens, when did they get the citizenship with the name that they currently have? Who gave them the citizenship? Because remember now, we had a situation where citizenship is being given out in the park and all, in the church and all this other stuff. So we got to really figure this thing out.
Citizenship is something that's been thrown around in the Bahamas for years, many years, Glenroy.
Yeah, but
lately it's been seemingly on a fast track.
By everybody.
If you see the list of name changes, you will notice and recognize that there is a great difference as in previous years. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. But now, if you have a whole page in the newspaper of name changes.
It's not just the complexion of the Bahamas changing. I tell you that. The names that are synonymous with being Bahamian are being expanded.
And I said to somebody today, if it is done, and these people show up to vote, their citizenship, their new name, their passport, their vote card, what you gonna say? You can't say nothing. You're sitting down sharing this information, because that information went viral, makes no difference. Can it be prevented? Can it be stopped?
I saw a Chinese guy walking down on Marquis Street the other day in a PLP shirt. I was supposed to take a photo of it.
Please. Stop it. And everyone pads, the their I guess anything in their favor. They pad.
That should be unacceptable.
They pad the voting blocks in their favor.
We live with the results, we've been complaining every time, and that is why I said this situation should be taken seriously. Because if you believe, and you don't have to be correct, but if you believe there's a voting block being created in your that disadvantage you should be opening.
But I think a last name change has nothing to do, or new name change to do with the voting block. I just wonder what else is going on, because people are citizens in every nation, and they are allowed to vote once they gain those citizenship.
Exactly.
And so, hey. But listen, I thank you both very, very much. Thank, of course, our guests at the top of tonight's show. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. We certainly enjoyed having you along. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.